Not easy to do a show. I got to be honest, with a glove on. It's a little bit more difficult to do that. I'm just throwing that out there. For those who don't know, it's not easy to do a show with a glove on. All right, let me turn my headphones up. What is going on, everybody? Good morning, everybody. Good morning on this Tuesday, December 10th, 8:01. I start at 8 a.m. I don't want anybody to think that I'm cutting them short here. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. This is the Sliwa Show, Monday through Friday, right here. Of course, here on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. We got a lot to get into today, but we're also kind of, got to be honest with everybody. Kind of hanging out today. I'll get into sports. We got some sports. I got some good stuff that I'm going to get into. Topics that I've been working on. I got my cup of Joe right here. But, on this Tuesday where the Lakers have basically, what do they got? 1-2 games this week. They don't got a game until Friday. Today we're going to kind of shoot the shit a little bit. We're going to hang out with anybody that's here on this Tuesday and hanging out with the Sliwa Show. We'll hang out. We don't have to get, we don't have to get like crazy into sports. Now, granted, I do have a lot of sports topics to get into. Of course, I'm going to come prepared, but at the same time, we could, yeah. I don't know why my voice gets high when I do that. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Okay, so couple things topics-wise today that we're going to do. By the way, can I just say this? Yesterday's show, I posted some stuff up on Lebron. I'm going to spend some time on that. You actually see one of mine. If you guys listened to the show yesterday, I was talking about the reaction video I was talking about what do Laker fans think about LeBron. I got to show you some of these comments because on YouTube, and I think I told you guys this, what I typically do for certain topics, I usually take one full video. And if it's a video that I think people want to hear by itself, then I'm going to post it by itself. That's exactly what I did yesterday. The LeBron stuff, I don't think I'm shocked. I don't think it's the biggest shock in the world. But damn, do people have an opinion on LeBron James and, where they want to see this Lakers franchise go. So we'll spend a little bit of time on that. I tried being positive here, and I put the best case scenario for the Los Angeles Lakers. Brian Windhorst had a video saying that there's already some chatter from teams out there saying, hey, is Bron going to be available? So we'll play a little bit of that. Ty Lue was on the Stephen A. Smith show and felt like he was disrespected by the Los Angeles Lakers. I think there's a perception right now of the Los Angeles Lakers in that front office that I want to spend some time on as well. Talk a little baseball. Teoscar Hernandez is about to get paid. And I don't know who it's going to be by, but I'll just tell everybody right now, there are 1,000% there are going to be teams out there that missed out on the bidding for Juan Soto that are going to be trying to get their hands on Teoscar Hernandez, and I don't blame them. So I think the Dodgers are going to definitely have some competition on that. Do you guys see the story about Juan Soto wanted a suite at Yankee Stadium? And Yankees said, no suite for you. Not no soup for you. No suite for you. And that supposedly had something to do with him not signing. All right. Get into a little bit of that. And then at the end of the show, I want to spend a little bit of time today. I haven't really done this in a while. I'm going to ask listeners who have spent time on this channel since I started over 2 months ago. And what I'm talking about is the Monday through Friday show. Of course, this channel has been around for a while talking Lakers basketball. Get some channel feedback from you guys. Get some thoughts as I continue to build this bad boy. And we'll get some channel feedback from the crew. Quote of the day today. Oh, thank you for asking, everybody. I saw a couple people there say, hey, Al, where's the quote today? Okay, I got to be honest. Nobody said that, but I said that to myself. Without the darkness, you would never know the light. Without the darkness, you would never know the light. That's the quote today from our tea here. Yogi tea. Where'd I get this thing from? Sprouts? Without darkness, you would never know the light. So hopefully that will help one person out there. All right, let's take a quick look here. Some of the comments, and then we're going to get the show started. What's up, Sliwa? my brother. Thank you for being a part of the show. Morning Slee. How did the Santa Ana Winds treat you last night? Greetings from Poway. First off, if I'm getting some San Diego County shout outs, San Diego County, I just pushed to the front of the line. Okay. I just immediately pushed right to the front of the line. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. LA, relax. I'm just joking around. Okay. Just everybody calm down here for a second. But you guys know my roots. Chula Vista in the house. Thank you. Good morning, Chula Vista. Thank you for being a part of the show. Good morning, everybody. Get it, Slee. What else we got here? Good morning. Top of the morning. I got people saying, looking at their cup of coffee or their tea and saying good morning. Thank you very much. Listen, if you're throwing El Cajon in the mix, you guys know that. I mean, you want to talk about roots. That's where Sliwa's jumper was created. Okay. You don't get 42% from the top of the key at Kennedy Recreation Center without mentioning El Cajon. Okay. All right. That's where it all started. Those are the roots. All right. There we go. By the way, you know what? We haven't done this in a while. If you guys want to give a shout out from where you're tuning in from, feel free to do so. I usually do roll call during Laker games after Lakers win, but since the Lakers win once every 3 weeks now, it's been a little bit more difficult to do so. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'll give you guys a shout out. Sunnyvale to San Diego, Brazil in the house. Thank you for being a part of the show. I appreciate it. I'll kind of sprinkle those in as we go. All right, let's get the show started. I got people saying that I'm lying to them about my 42% from the top of the key. Hey, I'm all facts on this show. All facts. All stats. All right, let me show you guys something here real quick. LeBron yesterday. By the way, this is kind of nice. Got to be honest with you. It's a little bit nice when, a lot of times I do have guests on. I have a guest coming up tomorrow that's going to be Laker NBA centric. Got a guest coming up on Thursday. When I don't have a guest, kind of allows me to just do my thing. Yesterday, I put out this video, and all I want you guys to do is just see the comments. I just want you guys to see the feedback of what Laker fans were saying when I put out the video on LeBron. So here's the video. Here's Sliwa. Here was the topic. Are Laker fans ready for the next chapter? Life after LeBron James. Okay. Laker fans ready for the next chapter, life after LeBron James. All right, let's look at some of the comments here. The reason why I want to show you guys this is because it's an interesting conversation right now. It's an interesting conversation is because I have no idea what the Lakers, kind of really what their plan is. What happens in a couple weeks for the Lakers if all of a sudden we're looking at the NBA standings and Lakers are back to 500. Wait a minute. Weren't they 10-4 at one point? What do you mean they're 500? That's not possible. How would the Lakers be 500? They started the season out 10-4. Well, it's not out of the ordinary. If you go look at the schedule that Lakers got coming up, Memphis, Minnesota, a couple games against Sacramento. They got some really competitive, tough games over the next couple of weeks. What happens if the Lakers, that by the time we get to January 1st, are sitting at 500? Are they still all in? Are they still going out there and looking for trades? Are they still trying to put themselves in a position to salvage the season? I don't have an answer for you. But the conversation has come up around LeBron. And the conversation around LeBron James has been, you saw this from Michael Wilbon. I played it yesterday talking about, hey, the Lakers should reach out to the Golden State Warriors and see if they could maybe put a deal together. Brian Windhorst, I'll show you guys on his Hoop Collective podcast. He said that I'd be lying to you if there aren't front offices asking around, is LeBron going to be available? Well, let me put all that to the side. My hope yesterday with that video that I put out about Bron, I want the Laker fans' pulse on this. Okay, it's fine what the media is saying. Okay, it's fine. Would the Lakers even consider trading LeBron? Would LeBron even want to play with another team? He's got that no trade clause. Would he leave Los Angeles? All these other questions that come into play. But my question is, and I think this is kind of the foundation of how this channel was built. Yeah, that's all good. What do Laker fans feel? How do Laker fans feel about the idea and the concept of saying, can we move on? Or no, I'm still good with LeBron and him being a Los Angeles Laker. From the comments that I read down here, I can't find many positive ones. And again, I go back to something that I mentioned yesterday. I'll go back to something that um, I have a real respect for Braun. I do. And maybe that's just um, get this like this until we actually get into the comments. However you want to describe it, I have a real respect for what LeBron has done over his career, and maybe other Laker fans do as well. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, all right, what's that next phase of Lakers basketball going to look like? I mean, if we're not competing this year, and if the Lakers are looking like another 8, 9, or 10 seed in the Western Conference, and then they're a first round exit, um, do we kind of fast forward the process here? I mean, do we all kind of know the inevitable? Right now, if the Lakers went into a 7-game set against the Oklahoma City Thunder, what would happen? Right now, if the Lakers went into a 7-game set against the Memphis Grizzlies, I'm just naming teams that are in the top of the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks, the Denver Nuggets, what would it look like? It doesn't feel like it's going to be a good outcome for the Lakers. Let's just put it that way. So here are some of the comments when I was reading yesterday. Let's see if I know how to do this. All right, put myself down at the bottom here. Here are some of the comments that I got from Laker fans of whether they're ready for the next chapter after LeBron James. Here's one. Are we ready? My God, we are begging for him to leave. Please go. Okay, let's keep going here. Most LeBron fans are not Laker fans. Okay, I've heard that one before. I think you could do both. I could be a fan of LeBron's game. I was a fan of LeBron when he was in Cleveland. I didn't like him when he was in Miami, but I was a fan when he was in Cleveland. I was definitely rooting for him to win a championship for Cleveland. Again, in Miami, yeah, I could care less. I wasn't a fan of the Heatles, if you want to call it. I was hating. It's all good. Some people are fans of individual players, but of course, I appreciate his game. I think there are a lot of Laker fans. When he came to the Lakers, there was this, well, this is Kobe's team, and how will this? I never kind of made those comparisons. I just left it as it is. Bron will always be considered a Cleveland Cavalier. He'll always be known as somebody that played in Miami for 4 years and won 2 championships. Let's keep going down. Let's keep going down this road. All right, here's one. You don't sound like you're taking the pulse of the situation. It sounds like you're arguing him coming and being here is a good thing in totality. I'm not. I don't know if I 100% understand that comment. I don't think Bron being a Los Angeles Laker was a bad thing. If that's what you're asking me, yeah, I was completely okay to get in LeBron James business because LeBron was hopefully going to put pressure on your franchise to try to win a championship, and that's ultimately what the Lakers are about. Are you winning chips or are you not? Okay, there's another one. Slee, can you really trust Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka to build the Lakers? Okay, that's a little bit more of a front office question we'll get into when I get into Ty Lue getting disrespected by the Lakers. I would love if LeBron left. He made the last 4 years as a Laker fan absolutely miserable with his toxic, passive-aggressive antics. Keep going. I think most Laker fans want him gone. Most LeBron James fans, LBJ fans, are on here to call people haters. Okay? All right, that one's too long. If LeBron leaves, we're really going to miss paying max money just to fight for a play-in every year. Obviously, somebody being sarcastic there. Can't wait for him to be gone. Keep going here. People no longer respect the Lakers organization because of LeBron. That's the problem. All right, here's one that sounds a little bit. Laker fans are so damn ridiculous. They act like they won the title every year Kobe was here. How quickly they forgot how terrible the Lakers were the last 3 years of Kobe's career. Okay, of all the comments, that one you could sort of say is in defense of LeBron. All the other ones are not. It took me how many? 6, 7, 8, 9 comments to read before I found one. I wanted LeBron to walk after last year. Okay, you could read the rest of the comment. Love you. Lakers could have had Jason. Okay, that's more of a front office thing. He won't leave because no contending team would take him, but he is the Lakers' cash cow. Tough pill to swallow, but we have to watch him until he actually retires. Okay. All right. Bronny and Redick are the last straw. You guys get the idea. The idea that if I'm trying to get a pulse of how Laker fans feel about their current situation and about Bron as a Los Angeles Laker, it is very, very difficult for me to pretend that most Laker fans are saying, hey, what's that next chapter going to look like? They don't know what it's going to look like. There's no guarantee what it's going to look like. There's no guarantee that the Lakers are going to have success when LeBron's no longer a Los Angeles Laker. I mean, I could go back and I could remind people of what it looked like before Bron got here. Now, I did see in the comments, there were some people in the comments that would say, yeah, but they were heading in the right direction and they had this young core. And I would say this. I would say the biggest problem that the Lakers have right now, and this is going to be part of the churning the page. I don't know if this front office has the patience to try to put together a winner organically. And I know this fan base does not have the patience. So any fans that go out there and say, we should have done this and drafted that. Okay, let's say they drafted Jason Tatum. Is he part of the deal to go get Anthony Davis? I don't have the answer for you, but I'm just telling you, he probably is. That this fan base also doesn't have this, let's all chill, let's kick back, and let's take our time and figure it out. That just doesn't typically happen around Lakers basketball. So that's the first thing that I wanted to get to today because of that feedback that I was talking about. And overwhelmingly, Laker fans are ready to say, hey, if that chapter ends with LeBron James, I don't think too many of them are disappointed about it. Why is this even a conversation? I'll tell you why it's a conversation. Because the clip that I played on Michael Wilbon, even bringing up the chatter about potentially trading LeBron. Okay, here's another one. You guys know Brian Windhorst. Phenomenal, fantastic. He does his Hoop Collective podcast. He's been nice enough. He joined me for years on Lakers Talk, and I was always appreciative of his time. I remember when I texted him, and this is after I left, obviously, 710 ESPN. Listen, it's interesting. That part of the world is, when you're with ESPN and you could kind of throw that weight around, it's different. If somebody says no to you, it's like, okay, it's all good. But it's also for them, hey, I'm getting on a Lakers show or I'm getting on LA radio, whatever the case is. When I left and, here I am now just doing the independent space, I have some curiosity of like, all right, who still would like to come on? And Brian Windhorst was nice enough to come on. I'm not surprised. That guy's he's a good dude. He's always showed support. Brian Windhorst on his Hoop Collective podcast. Here's what he said. I would be lying if I said that there haven't been some conversations in the league. Would LeBron at some point this year revisit that? And he's talking about potential trade. Because you remember last year at the trade deadline, the Warriors called. Okay? Goes on to say. But I just want to say a couple of things. First off, any trade that the Warriors make is going to be complicated. They only have $500,000 that are allowed to spend in this season. It's first, second apron stuff. I know it's boring. Any trade that they make, they really can't take on more money. Guess what? The Lakers are not allowed to take on any money because they're in the first apron. So it's impossible if LeBron wanted it. Also, LeBron has a no trade clause. Also, the Lakers don't own their first round pick. It goes unprotected to the Atlanta Hawks. The point Brian Windhorst is trying to make, would it be very, very, very complicated for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors to make a trade? Yes. For me, it has less to do exactly of a trade. It's that the conversation is out there. It's that Laker fans are also saying to themselves, hey, if this man decided to go a separate direction, I don't know how many of these Laker fans are going to lose sleep over it. It's the fact that there are Laker fans out there, and if you looked at some of the comments that say to themselves, there is he's such a polarizing player. He comes with so much weight that if that next chapter started, then that next chapter started. Let me add one more piece here. I'm gonna add one more piece of this. I'm gonna start looking at your guys' comments. So I was at the game on Sunday. I think I mentioned to you guys, Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers might have been the greatest game I've ever attended. I mean, listen, I was at Kobe's 60-point game, his final game of his career. I was at Lakers game 7, Lakers and the Celtics. Lakers won game 7 at Crypto. But I don't think any of those have the magnitude of what I watched on Sunday night at Crypto. 6:30 start against Anthony Simons. I just don't think you guys know what I'm talking about. Saw Bill Plaschke there at the game on Sunday. And Plaschke had a nice, quick conversation with him. He wrote an article. Look again, everywhere you look. Sinking Lakers franchise must throw LeBron James and Anthony Davis overboard. His article is basically saying, hey, let LeBron go compete for an NBA championship and go get as much as you can for Anthony Davis. Damn. All right, that's Michael Wilbon. That's Brian Windhorst. That's Bill Plaschke, obviously local here for the local here in Southern California, specifically for the LA Times, one of the most respected columnists that's out there. Damn. That's a lot coming from, three really, really respected, powerful people in the game that are giving their thoughts and opinion right out the gate. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here real quick. Thank you, by the way, for the super. Greatly appreciate that. We are becoming the Yankees of the NBA. Once our prestige is gone, we are just a regular team. Learn from the Yankees. Don't let that happen. Well, let me say this. I mean, I don't know if the Yankees are the best comp. They were just in the World Series. I mean, I know the goal is not to get to the World Series, but they were just in the World Series. I don't know the right comp for the Lakers. I don't know the right comp. The Cowboys are always a dumpster fire. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. Lakers, I think if you really look at since Dr. Jerry Buss passed away, it has been very, very difficult for the Lakers to have something that's consistent that you could feel proud of. And you could say, I know exactly where the organization is going. And here's our clear-cut plan. We know exactly what it is. So that's going to be the challenge for the Lakers. That's going to be the challenge for the Lakers. Thank you for the super, brother. Let's get a couple more here. This one's more on the front office. Palenka sucks. It's a problem with the front office. Hey, I'm not going to argue, guys, on that one in the front office portion of it. So much of your success in sports, your success in a business, your success in whatever it is that you do, it's your front office. It's your general manager. It's your owner. It's so much of your success does come down to, what specifically your organization is building. I'll give you guys an example. They're not a fair example right now because they're the best ones in sports doing it. They really are. The Dodgers are probably the best run organization in sports right now. The Kansas City Chiefs as well. There's a few franchises out there. UConn basketball, you may say, put in that conversation. They've won back-to-back championships. But it's a combination of, it's not just because you have the prestige and the money, but you're also very, very smart with all the small details. You're also very, very good at dotting your I's and crossing your T's. You're also very, very good at the contracts that are not maximum contracts. You're also very, very good at identifying players you feel like are developing and are going to be an asset to your team. You also feel like you're thinking 2 steps ahead of your competition. I cannot put any of those things and associate them with the Los Angeles Lakers. I just can't. That would be a bad idea for me to say that, and it also wouldn't be authentic. All right, a few more of these comments here, and I want to get into some of the Ty Lue stuff that we saw yesterday. Ty Lue was on the Stephen A. Smith podcast about freaking Stephen A. That man killing it, or is that man killing it? Okay, let's see a couple more here. Let's keep going here. Slee really can't slam LeBron because he will be banished from Lakerdom. Those are some of my favorites. I've basically said what's on my mind for about 8 years. And if you guys have listened to me, literally for 8 years, I've basically said what's on my mind. Since I had a mic, since I started Lakers Talk 8+ years ago, basically said what's on my mind. Now, am I disrespectful when I do it? No. Do I make it personal? No. But am I honest? I'd like to think I am. Let's see what else we got here. Mediocre means average. What the F are we watching? They just lost by 40 points. They are average team at best. All right. I'll let you guys kind of continue to have that conversation amongst yourselves. Did you guys see the story that came out yesterday? This to me, to be honest with you, I think it's stories like this that are really bad for this front office and are really bad for the organization. It has more to just do with the perception of your franchise. Not everything has to be factual. Not everything has to be just by the book. But a lot of times it's perception. What is the perception of your team? What is the perception of your franchise? What is the perception of your business? What is the perception of your company? If you have a lot of negative stories that are surrounding your company, it's going to hurt your company. It's going to hurt it from a public relations standpoint. It may just even one customer that's at the store and they're thinking to buy your product, even if it just goes into their head for a quick second, it's not good for business. I'm going to give you guys an example. The Lakers, Ty Lue joined Stephen A. Smith on his podcast. So Stephen A., listen, everywhere you look, Stephen A. Smith, he's everywhere. But actually, probably one of my favorite ways to watch Stephen A. Smith is on his pod, on his channel, on the independent space, because that's a different type of Stephen A. Smith. He had Ty Lue on. And by the way, Stephen A. is now obviously he's talking politics. He's talking everything else. He's doing his thing. It's not just, hey, I'm just here for sports. But it's kind of his evolution, I guess you can call it. Stephen A. Smith had Ty Lue on. This is what I mean about an organization where it's so important to have the right perception about your franchise and your team. All right. Ty Lue was on with Stephen A. He's talking about, if you guys remember, was it 2019 before the Lakers eventually signed Frank Vogel, which, by the way, was a good hire. Let's not pretend like Frank Vogel was not a good hire for the Lakers, and let's not pretend like Frank Vogel didn't win a championship for the Lakers. But that's not even the story. I think this, to me, is more interesting than that part specifically. The conversation had come up where LeBron James was somewhat involved. I don't know how involved he was, but Ty Lue was a candidate to be the Lakers head coach. Ty Lue's coming off an NBA championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, Ty Lue and LeBron James have a really close relationship. Here's what Ty Lue told Stephen A. Smith in regards to not getting the gig with the Lakers. He said he did. He's talking about LeBron. And he called me twice. He called me. What do I have to do? He's talking about getting the job with the Lakers. I said, Ty Lue, no, I want them to respect me. I don't want to have to go to you to get my deal done. If they don't respect me like I should be respected, then it's okay. This is Ty Lue basically talking about the Lakers front office. He was in the middle of trying to get the Lakers job. And I'll get into the details if you guys go back into this. And again, I want to continue to emphasize the perception that the Lakers are giving off even 4 or 5 years later. And there's a track record here, unfortunately, for that Lakers front office. He wasn't pissed off. This is Ty Lue talking about LeBron. He wasn't mad about it, but he and Rich Paul both stepped in and said, what are we going to do to get it done? I don't like the way it was handled. This is Ty Lue talking about it. All right. So basically, Ty Lue, at the end of the day, he felt like he was disrespected. I'm going to read one more quote here. This is Ty Lue talking to Stephen A. Smith. I don't think they had the same respect for me as I felt they should. They offered me the job on a 3-year basis, and they wanted to pick my coaching staff, and I just wasn't going to do that. For me to be a championship coach, to take a 3-year deal when everyone else is getting 5-year deals and more money, and then you want to pick my staff as well. Further on, he went on, I just thought it was a slap in the face as a young black head coach. I just thought it was a bad example. I was setting up for other guys coming up after me. I'm a loyal person. For me to take the job and leave my guys behind in Cleveland with no job, they were going to be out of the league, wasn't going to take those guys with me. I wasn't going to be be able to take those guys with me. He's talking about his coaching staff. All right, listen. Ty Lue has, at the absolute least, has proven after he left the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's a good head coach. You might not be a fan of the Clippers. Fine. Doesn't matter. It literally, it's irrelevant whether you're a fan of the Clippers or not. I don't care about that. Clippers today have a better record than the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard hasn't played yet for them. They're 14-11. By the way, in the offseason, they also lost Paul George. But I don't even care about the argument. Ty Lue is a really, really good head coach. It's absurd what the Lakers were asking Ty Lue to do. And what sucks about it is this was 5 years ago, and now it's coming up, and it's just another kind of bad taste in your mouth if you're another head coach out there. It might be a bad taste in your mouth if you're a player or a free agent or an agent that's saying, damn, the Lakers really did do Ty Lue dirty. And the Lakers are in a position to say, we're the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, maybe another team's going to offer you 5 years. We don't have to do that. We can offer you 3 years, and we're going to pick your coaches. I don't think that sets a good precedent. Let me say this as well. When you think of this Lakers team, one of the things, or when you think of this Lakers offense, when you think of this Lakers front office, I'm going to find something that I was searching a little bit earlier. When you think of this Lakers front office, one of the things that it's impossible not to think of, how many different head coaches have the Lakers had since Phil Jackson left the Lakers, right? Phil came back in his second stint with the Lakers, 2005 to 2011. Mike Brown, Bernie Bickerstaff, Mike D'Antoni, Byron Scott, Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham, J.J. Redick. I know not all of these were coaching for very long. Bernie Bickerstaff, I think, was in for like 10 games, something along those lines. But for the most part, J.J. Redick is your seventh coach in less than a 10-year span. Or in a, let's call it actually, no, my apologies. Your seventh coach in about 12, 13 years. That's not a good perception. Frank Vogel wins a championship, he's gone. You basically say, you fall on the sword, even though we traded for Russell Westbrook. Darvin Ham comes in. I think most people feel by the time Darvin Ham was done, there was a perception, hey, I don't think this guy's going to take the Lakers to the next level. Anthony Davis, and it felt like some of those guys he was losing in the locker room. You go out and make a change. He was a first-time head coach. J.J. Redick's never coached in the NBA, so there's another challenge you got coming up. I just thought that Ty Lue specifically, the perception that the Lakers right now, that front office is given off, there's already a lot of question marks of, does this franchise kind of know where they're going? Does it know what its next move is? Are they 2 steps ahead or 2 steps back? And on top of all that, this is a good example of a really good head coach in the NBA that's sitting back and saying, I was disrespected by that franchise and that front office. Well, that's not a good look. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here as we keep going on the show. Ty Lue is one of the best head coaches in the NBA, no question about it. All right, this one's more about the Lakers front office, their organization. This is terrible. I think what you're talking about, it's terrible as in the look that it gives off. I don't disagree that Vogel was a good coach. I don't disagree with that at all. And that really wasn't the conversation. The conversation was more about, look at the way Ty Lue was talking about the Lakers. All right, let's see what else we have here. All right, that's we got some of these everybody's kind of a little bit all over the place. People have their opinions and their thoughts, and I'm gonna let you guys have those opinions, those thoughts, and do your thing over there. Okay, let's kind of keep things rolling here. I do think, and I was looking at this. I joined Jovan Buha's podcast last week, and I was looking at we're having the conversation that come up, and we're talking about the Lakers. What are some trades that the Lakers can be a part of? What's the best case scenario that can happen for the Lakers moving forward at this stage. And we're having the chat, we're having the conversation, and I'm going to kind of lay out a couple things here. I know I just basically was negative for about 30 minutes. I wasn't even trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be honest and give people's thoughts and opinions of what people think about the Lakers right now. Best case scenario for the Lakers right now, here's what I tell you. I don't know where the Lakers are going to be in the next month. I don't know what the deadline's going to look like. You know, I don't know what players are still going to be on this Lakers team, what players are not going to be on this Lakers team. But let me play out what I think would be the best case scenario for the Lakers. And then we're going to get into some baseball stuff. I got some stuff on Teoscar Hernandez. I want to talk about Juan Soto. And then I'm going to spend maybe the last 10 minutes of the show today just getting some feedback on the channel so far and finding for different ways to continue to grow the channel and improve the channel and make sure that you guys are liking what I'm doing. Okay, let's keep it going. So we were talking about trade scenarios, Jovan and I were. And listen, you could sit here and make the case. All right, hey, is Walker Kessler, would he be a great fit for the Lakers? All right, what would he cost? Dorian Finney-Smith. You go down all the different players. But I want to play out what I think would be the best case scenario for the Lakers right now. Where the Lakers are sitting today, what's the best case scenario moving forward? Well, two things have to happen, and they got to hopefully happen ASAP. They got to get healthy. They got to get healthy. And for those that don't want to make an excuse for the Lakers and, yeah, okay, other teams are injured too. All right, that's fine. I've done that as well. But we need to acknowledge that there are players that the Lakers don't have right now that they need. We need to at least acknowledge that Austin Reeves obviously is a key player for the Lakers. We need to at least acknowledge that Jared Vanderbilt was supposed to be a key piece for the Lakers. And that's not to say that there aren't flaws with the Lakers roster, that there are not certain players that you can't depend on. That's not to say that LeBron and Anthony Davis both need to be better, specifically Anthony Davis, on a night in, night out basis. But let me play out the best case scenario the rest of the way for the Lakers. They get their players back. That at least Austin Reeves is back, hopefully by the time we get to Friday. That not too far behind him, you start getting some of that depth back, whether it's Jackson Hayes. I know Christian Wood we haven't seen either. And then hopefully by the time you get to January, Jared Vanderbilt's there. Okay, let me continue to play out best case scenario for the Lakers. They're in the mix. And they're at least in the mix enough for that front office to say, all right, let's go make a move. They're at least in the mix enough for the front office to say, we got to get this roster better. The Lakers are showing some signs. I know the last 3 weeks they haven't shown many signs, but they have to be showing some signs that there's potential here. The Lakers can make it happen. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Those things have to happen for the Lakers over this next 30 days, 45 days. What you can't have happen is by the time you're January 1st, January 15th, you're looking up and you're 11th or 12th in the West. San Antonio's got a better record than you. Phoenix is better than you. Sacramento's better than you. Minnesota's better than you. The only three teams that are below you are Portland, Utah, New Orleans that pretty much have all punted on the season. New Orleans specific reasons because of their injuries. Best case scenario for the Lakers, you just kind of calm the waters down a little bit and you start getting healthy. And now all of a sudden you're back to, even if you're not winning 60% of your games, win 50 of them for now. Stay in the mix. There's some interesting names out there that have been associated with the Lakers. I think the Lakers got to add a two-way wing. And there was an article that just came out. Jake Fisher, who has done some really good, writing and reporting and everything else, put out an article that Ingram that's not happening with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's not something that the Lakers are going to go try to identify. Okay, don't get a Brandon Ingram. But the Lakers need a two-way player. Lakers need a Dorian Finney-Smith type of player. Lakers need a Bruce Brown type of player. I saw another name that, man, I forgot about this dude. And I only saw him, I think he's with Washington. I was seeing how bad Washington was when they snapped that 16-game losing streak and they beat Denver. And you know who was on that team? Malcolm Brogdon. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that guy get buried in Washington? It's a good player. I'd love to have a Malcolm Brogdon type of player on the Los Angeles Lakers team. They got to add some depth. They got to add some players that you feel like have been in the league for a while, that have some scars, that are ready to go for a playoff run, that don't care about the BS that kind of comes with sports sometimes. They're just ready to go. Hey, put me on a franchise with LeBron and Anthony Davis and let me go to work. What do you guys need me to do? You need me to play some defense? I'm going to play some defense. You need me to hit an open jumper every once in a while? I'm going to hit you an open jumper. But those type of players, they need a wing player that can play both sides of the ball. A player like Dorian Finney-Smith can be a huge difference for this Lakers squad. Everybody's got to be back. Everybody's got to be healthy, but he can be a huge difference. Malcolm Brogdon is a vet in this league. I would take a dude. Now, I know he's had a lot of health injuries and everything else, but that's another type of player. Bruce Brown, we all saw it when he was with Denver, and we haven't seen him since he left Denver. Won an NBA championship and was a key role player on a playoff team. Okay, you got to go out and get another big. I think, the question with the bigs, I thought Jovan made a really good point when him and I were talking about this. The reason why he loves Walker Kessler, he's like, Al, he's 23. He's a double-double a game every single night. By the way, also going to get you a couple blocks. I think him and Wemby are the only players at double-doubles with 2 blocks a game. Walker Kessler, he's not just 23 years old. He's not just a player you're bringing in and he's going to be with the Lakers for 1 or 2 years. He could be a player that the Lakers keep for 4 or 5 years, that at least get players too that you feel like could be a part of the long-term process rather than the short-term process. Perfect scenario for the Lakers. You go get your wing player. You go get a big, and I'm using the example of Walker Kessler, Nick Claxton of the Brooklyn Nets, players like that you feel like are going to be here. They can be here and kind of grow with the franchise rather than they're just a rental and then they're gone. In my opinion, you the water calms a little bit and the Lakers continue to just be in the mix in the Western Conference, and then the front office can go out there and be aggressive. That's the best case scenario for me. Personally, I think move on from some of this extra weight. D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, can you find moves to have these guys go? Yes, you're going to have to draft, or you're going to have to give up draft compensation for it. I think it's worth every penny. Maybe a guy like Rui, I can go either way. If Rui stays on the team or he doesn't, but you just need some new blood on this roster, and certainly some players that have some experience. Okay. Let's keep rolling here. I'll get to some of these comments here in just a second, but I'm going to keep moving here because we're already almost 45 minutes in. There's still a couple other topics that I want to get into. Okay, you know what? A couple of these. Don't trust Pelinka. Here's another one. Malcolm reputation is that he's a bad locker room guy. Where was Brogdon? And here's another one. Brogdon's always hurt. 45 games a year. No thanks. I'm a Brogdon fan if he's healthy. I like his style of basketball. He's kind of a tough-minded dude. I feel like the Lakers need someone like that. Best case, Bron goes to Vegas in the expansion draft. All right, let's see some more of these here. Some people arguing that the Lakers suck argue that they should trade both first-round picks. Teams that suck don't make expensive trades. Make it make sense. If they're in a spot by the time you get to, January 15th, and they're in that number 12 spot in the Western Conference, I'm holding on to my picks. If there is no, if there's no hope, but if Austin Reeves came back and Vando came back and they find themselves 8th or 9th, but they haven't got a chance to really play all these guys together, and you feel like, hey, they're putting up good competition, they're putting up good games against good competition, that might be a little bit of a different story. All right, let's keep rolling here. So yesterday, I did a video. Yesterday, the big news in all of sports yesterday was obviously the news about Juan Soto. And I'm gonna tie back to Juan Soto in just a second. But the big news was Juan Soto. The big news was Juan Soto signing his 15-year deal, $765 million, and deciding to basically tell the New York Yankees, no, I'm not going to play at Yankee Stadium. I'm going to go to Citi Field. I'm not going to play for the prestigious franchise. I'm going to play for the franchise that right now That owner is looking to invest. He's going to do whatever the hell he can. That's the big news. The big news was, and I put out a video yesterday basically talking about why I understood why the Mets did it. I understood why the Yankees wanted him. I understood why the Red Sox and Toronto were all going after him. But I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's a good contract. But at the end of the day, I understand why they were doing it. And I also understood why the Dodgers were, yeah, we're in the mix, but we're not really in the mix. This is what happens after that unfolded. And we all knew once Juan Soto picked his spot, then Teoscar Hernandez conversation was going to come up next. I'm gonna say this, and I think most people who are on this chat who are baseball fans, Teoscar Hernandez was a really, really important piece for the Dodgers this past year. When I was doing the show with Travis over at 710, every time T-Raj and I we talk baseball, and Travis really as good as it gets when it comes to talking Major League Baseball and talking baseball. Genuine interest since he was a kid, so you could just tell it's in his blood. But I remember when they signed Shohei Ohtani, and after that the ripple effect came. Then came Glasnow. Then came Yamamoto. I don't know in what order. Glasnow, Yamamoto, and then eventually Teoscar Hernandez. I remember Trav telling me, he's like, Al, Teoscar Hernandez is a baller. Like that's a big piece that the Dodgers just got that's kind of going quietly under the radar. And I want to say Teoscar was he 20 and some change for 1 year. And he mentioned, he's like, this guy's an all-star. Literally, he's an all-star. Okay. Season starts. It's so easy to forget about Teoscar Hernandez because of the lineup. If Teoscar Hernandez was on a different team, Teoscar's in the lineup. The problem with the Dodgers was you had Shohei that took 90% of the conversation. Then you had Mookie that took, you guys know what I'm talking about. Mookie after that, then Freddie Freeman. There were times that Shohei would make Mookie look like he was a regular player. Mookie's one of the greatest players in all of baseball. But you had those three players. They took all the attention, all the energy, Shohei taking a big portion of that. And then don't forget, there's other Dodgers that have been there that have come through. There's guys like Max Muncy. There's guys like Will Smith. There's other names that have been with the Dodgers organization for a long time. Teoscar Hernandez was such a important key piece in that Dodgers run. I mean, if I just look in the playoffs, forget everything that happened in the season. With the Dodgers down 5-3 while the Yankees were collapsing, they were still just 1 out away. Garrett Cole getting out of that inning. What was it? The fifth inning, sixth? I can't remember off the top of my head. They were still 1 out away, even with all the mistakes and the errors that they made, of getting out of the inning with a 5-3 lead until Teoscar Hernandez came up with 2 on, men at the corners, with 2 outs, and hit the ball over Aaron Judge's head that tied the game in Game 5 of the World Series. That was Teoscar Hernandez. He was a big piece. He was such a big piece for the Dodgers that I think a lot of Dodger fans really went out of their way to say, why would we go after Juan Soto and pay the man $700 million, $600 million? By the way, I can't even remember what the conversation was before Teoscar signed and before the rumors started coming out. But during the or before Soto signed, before the World Series ended, I don't know what you thought Juan Soto's number is going to be. Maybe you thought it was going to be 500. Maybe you thought it was going to be 600. You think it was going to be 765? Of course not. This is the risk that now comes with the Dodgers, and there's nothing they could do about this. There's nothing they could do about it. But I will tell you, if I'm the Boston Red Sox, or if I'm the Toronto Blue Jays, or if I'm the New York Yankees, if I'm a team that was in the sweepstakes to go get Juan Soto and I struck out, I'm putting all my attention towards Teoscar Hernandez. I'm overpaying for Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar Hernandez is a player that has been in the league for a while, that was incredibly, incredibly successful for the Dodgers last year, is a veteran, now has a World Series under his belt, is clutch. He has a lot of things that, most teams really, really want to see in their lineup. But here's the most important thing. If you're any of the teams that I talked about, you're trying to save face. If you're the Yankees, you want to come back to the drawing board and you want to tell your fan base, guys, we didn't go get Juan Soto, but here's what we did do. We went and got Teoscar Hernandez. We went and got a starting pitcher, and then we went and got this player, whatever the case is. We went and got 3 players that Yes, we didn't spend the 760 that we offered to Juan Soto, but we got really good players that we think that can add to this team. If you're Toronto, you do the same thing, so forth and so forth. The risk that the Dodgers have, and again, it's not anything really they can do about it. If I'm a squad out there that missed out on Juan Soto, I'm overpaying for Teoscar Hernandez. I am. I'm overpaying for Teoscar Hernandez. What are the Dodgers offering you? 3 years, 60. We're going to offer you 4 years, 85. I'm overpaying for Teoscar Hernandez. I'm overpaying because I think he's a good player. I'm overpaying because he's somebody that can come through in big situations. I'm overpaying because I didn't get Juan Soto and I need to save face to my franchise. And that's part of the way I'm going to save face. A lot of Dodger fans did not care about Juan Soto. They kept saying, go re-sign Teoscar Hernandez. Now that Soto's done, now that Soto has found a home, now that Soto got paid $765 million, there's going to be some real competition for Teoscar Hernandez. It's really ultimately just going to come down to him. Where does he want to be? I know people can all say, you saw some of his quotes after the World Series, how much he loved being in, obviously how much he loved playing for the Dodgers and coming through and all that stuff. When the dust settles and you're sitting there with your agent and your family, okay, it's business now. If Teoscar Hernandez got overpaid and ended up signing with the New York Yankees or Toronto, I'm just using teams as an example. Maybe he ends up somewhere else. But if he ended up signing somewhere else and got overpaid, I don't think Dodger fans are going to be mad at Teoscar Hernandez. They're probably going to say, we get it. We understand. You went out and got paid. Now, what they could be upset about, they could be upset at the front office and say, you got to find a way to bring that guy back to LA. He was a key piece. There's kind of an interesting scenario here for the Dodgers because I don't know how much is going to be under their control. Or maybe there will be, but the Dodgers are also a smart organization. They try not to overpay too much, whatever that number means or whatever that means. For all I know, they're going to defer all the payments anyways. But I think this is going to be interesting now. Now that Soto is out of the way, what's it going to look like and what's that contract going to look like for Teoscar Hernandez? I think it's going to be expensive. I think there are going to be teams out there that say, we have to go try to get this dude because of what happened. Like I said, because of what happened in the Soto sweepstakes. All right, let's see what we got here. Anything else you need? You just named off 39 players. What the hell's going on here? Here's what we got here. Dodgers offered $600 million to Soto, but can't give Teoscar a bag. Come on. Maybe they're going to give him a bag. But I think that's what it's going to take to get him. And if I'm one of these other teams, I'm telling you, if I'm one of these other teams, especially teams like the Yankees that just got to the World Series, right? We're certainly in an opportunity where we'll say AL is not nearly as good as the NL. I definitely 100% think that there's going to be a team out there that overpays. Okay, did you guys see this? Damn, would he get 100 mil plus? I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what his market is, but that's only because I didn't know Juan Soto was worth $765 million. Okay, there was an article out there. This is actually pretty funny. Pretty funny. So now that the aftermath of everything that happened with Juan Soto, okay, well, why didn't he sign with the Yankees? Well, what happened? Did anything specific happen? I'm going to read you guys an article here. Kind of a trip. So Soto signs his 15 years, $765 million, no deferred money, a $75 million signing bonus. Basically, when the dust settles, he's going to make over $800 million. John Heyman put a report out, New York Post, talking about that the Yankees had the option to keep bidding, but hit their limit. Here's what else was reported. That the Yankees refused to offer Juan Soto a free suite at Yankee Stadium, as the Mets did at Citi Field, saying that neither Aaron Judge nor Derek Jeter were afforded such a luxury. They did, however, offer him a discount. I think this is I think this is just a funny story. I got to be honest with you. Every team has a maximum price. I'm going to keep reading the article. I'm reading this on CBS Sports. Yankees apparently reached theirs before the Mets did. It's not hard to imagine a scenario in which the Yankees just assume Mets owner Steve Cohen, the wealthiest and perhaps most motivated MLB owners, have been willing to keep raising the bid until it prevailed. I got to look at this both ways, okay? Number one, I'm going to look at it from the Yankees. If you want Juan Soto, give him a suite. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If this is coming down to a suite, give him a suite. Now, I got some hesitation on the article only because is it really coming down to a suite? And are they really not setting a precedent? And maybe they are. Maybe they're saying, well, if we give you a suite, then we got to give Judge a suite. If we give Judge a suite, then we got to give Cole a suite. And the next thing we know, we don't have any corporate sponsorships. But I just think it's funny that this is the article that's out. The reason why Juan Soto decided that he's not going to go to the Yankees is because he didn't get a suite. I put that to the side for a quick second. If I'm Juan Soto and I'm Scott Boras, what more do you want? What the hell are you talking about? It's coming down to a suite. You're getting $765 million for 15 years or $760 with the Yankees. Let's just catch him a quick little check here and say, guys, I'm going to go ahead and need a suite. Are we really? What was it? Okay, let's say they gave him the suite. What's next? I want chicken tenders. What do you mean you want chicken tenders? I want chicken tenders. Every suite this year at Yankee Stadium, I want chicken tenders. You want chicken tenders? Yeah. If I don't get chicken tenders, no deal. Okay, give the man chicken tenders. I want trail mix. You want what? I want trail mix. I want the spicy Cajun trail mix at every Yankees game. My brother, you're getting $765 million. What do you care about the suite for? Well, I don't get it. I don't really understand. I don't understand from both sides. Number one, if you're the Yankees, just give the man a suite. Number two, if you're Scott Boras and Juan Soto, are we really asking for a suite? Are we really asking? What's next? Chicken tenders. I got the Cajun trail mix. What do you? And I got to have popcorn. I don't know where it ends. I just thought it was hilarious that was going on and that was part of the conversation. By the way, when you're talking to somebody, I love chicken tenders. That's my thing. It's not really my thing. All right, let's see some of this here. Sliwa soapbox. Is this a soapbox thing? Guy's asking for a suite after he got $765 million. It's like buying a $10 million mansion and saying, hey, I'm not taking the mansion unless you get me a PlayStation. You just bought a $10 million mansion. You want us to throw in a PlayStation? Yes. Out of principle, I want a PlayStation. That's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny to see this. Okay. Damn, the show kind of moved. Got to be honest with you. What the hell's going on here? I feel like I just started. Throw a question out here to anybody that's on the channel. So I'm about to get to episode number 50. That's coming tomorrow. I think it's 49, and episode 50 is coming on Thursday. I'm gonna give you guys a quick idea of my experience so far of being in the independent space. About almost 2.5 months now, just being on YouTube Monday through Friday. Okay. I think I had a little bit of an advantage here because I've had the YouTube channel. So it was just a matter of now going 100% on YouTube. So technically I didn't have to start from scratch. So that I think has a big part to do with the channel so far. I got a question for everybody who's hanging out. And most of the people that are on my live are the ones that typically are saying, hey, I'm going to hang out with Sliwa every morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Maybe you're hanging out in the post-game show as well. But maybe you're not. However people are consuming it, it doesn't matter to me. I just hope that I'm delivering what you guys are looking for. If you guys have any feedback, you don't have to put it in the chat right now, or you can if you'd like to. Or if you guys have comments that you just want to put once this video is done, you could feel free to do so. You could also hit me on my email. I've put out my email a couple different times, allensliwa@gmail.com. Any feedback you guys have is helpful to me. So if the feedback is, hey, Al, I wish you'd talk more about this and less about that, helpful. If the feedback is, I'll give you guys an example. I'm looking to start memberships pretty soon, but I haven't done it yet because I want to make sure that I get it right. Any feedback you guys would have of if you were a member of the channel and we're paying a monthly fee, what is it that you're looking for from me outside of the live show or my Laker stuff that I do that is of benefit that you guys see of value? Um, Guests. Hey, Al, it'd be great, I think, if you went out and tried to get this guest or that guest or whatever the case is. Hey, Al, less conversation about this sport, more about that. Hey, you got to mix this in, you got to mix that in. Partnerships. I'm in touch with a few different partners right now, and I got my strategy of what I want to do in regards to that. And it will come, but it's going to come. I want it to be the right partnerships. If there are categories in the space that you guys would love to support, at the end of the day, if I do bring any partners in, it's going to come down to, does the channel support the partner or not? They need to be, synchronized. They have to match, and it's a win-win for everybody. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And I know, are there going to be a ton of people that are throwing, paragraphs of feedback? Probably not. But any feedback you guys have on this channel would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm gonna tell you guys kind of my thoughts through the first 2.5 months. I really, really, really enjoy this new space that I'm in, this new platform that I'm in. I really, really enjoy the challenge of trying to figure out what this puzzle is and how I'm going to grow the channel. If I told you guys 30 days ago compared to today, I got a lot more knowledge than I did. 30 days from now, I'm going to have a lot more knowledge than I have today. But I think it's also important to get um, your feedback. This channel is only successful and gets to where I want it to be because of you guys. So any feedback that you guys have would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I know I've said this before, as far as, growing the channel and kind of what the next steps are. Every single day, it's like, okay, hey, maybe that's going to help. Maybe this works. Maybe it doesn't work. But I freaking love the space. I love what I'm doing. I love the flexibility that I have. I love that I can do it from anywhere. There's a lot of great, great things there's a lot of my skill set that I used to have when, I was on radio for obviously a number of years. I was in sales on radio for a number of years. So I'm able to kind of use a little bit of everything to put together this show and put together this channel. So any feedback that you guys have would be greatly appreciated. I won't read any of them now. I'll go back and I'll take a look and everything else. But thank you very much for being a part of the show. Thank you very much for being a part of the channel. Your guys' support and some of the comments that you guys put in there really kind of adds fuel to what I'm trying to do. So very encouraged of where the channel is going. And the main thing is I enjoy doing it. And I think anytime that you enjoy what you're doing, there's a good chance you're going to have success. And that's kind of the thought process that I have. And any feedback that you guys give would be phenomenal, would be great. Go enjoy your cup of Joe. Go enjoy your cup of coffee. Thank you for hanging out for over an hour with me. I'm back on tomorrow at 8 a.m. Tomorrow I'm going to have Kobe Price on. Kobe Price covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. So he's in the locker room after every Lakers game, everything else. So we'll have some good Laker conversation tomorrow, kind of a little bit more of a back and forth. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I haven't looked today, but I think we're just about closing in on 27,000. The hope is here. If I keep going at this pace, we're going to get to 30,000 here very, very quick, and then just continue to blow through that number as well. So please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Share it. That's another great way. If you think somebody that maybe you're somebody that followed me at 710 ESPN, and you think that there's somebody else that used to follow me there that doesn't know that I'm here, share it with your friends. Share it with people that you think would have interest in the channel. Share it with people that you think like some of the sports topics that I'm getting into. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will get back to you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Thanks, everybody.